Florida SuperCon 2019, how are we? All right. Like I said, this is a panel that's gone through various permutations, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring out our first guest, go talk to him about his career and stuff like that, and then we're going to bring out our surprise mystery guest, talk about his career a little bit, then talk about their mutual career, then open it up to your questions. So let's go ahead and get this started away. Please welcome to the stage an amazing man, so many talents, so many wonderful career. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Barry Bostwick.
Woo! 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 There we go. Did you see those four over there? They made those costumes. God bless you guys. It's great. You're too tall. You should not be here. Okay. But everybody, thank you for coming out on a Tuesday night to see us all. And I have got, you know what I've got?
What have you got?
I've got, if whoever comes up with the best question, I have a gift.
Really?
Yes, I have a gift. So you have to really think hard about these questions. It's a Rocky Horror Picture Show $1 million bill. And it's worth about 18 cents. I bought them in bulk. And I will sign it if I agree with myself that you have a good question, and the best question, and the most unique question. And it can't be this question. Did you think that the Rocky Horror Show would be as big as it is now when you were making it? I have no answer for that other than the fact that we were pretty stoned most of the time. So, no, the answer is no. The answer is no. So as you're thinking of your questions, there's $1 million at the end of it.
That's a worthy prize, What I'd love to do is talk a little bit about some of the stuff that led to Rocky Horror and beyond that. You came up in California, we're doing theater.
I did?
You did, yeah.
Okay.
And you played the signature role in the original production of Grease.
Grease?
Yes.
Yeah. I did. I created the part of Danny Zuko in Grease on Broadway that John Travolta stole from me and did it in the movie. But that's okay. He's a nice guy, and he was great in the part. And by that time, I was 30 years old, and so I was a little long in the tooth to play Danny Zuko in film. But no, we did that in 1971. 71?
Yeah, sounds about right, yeah.
On Broadway, and then I did a touring company of it afterwards, and it was a great time, a great cast, and I think we created something that was very unique, and I've been very fortunate to be involved in a couple of projects in my career so far that have had some real lasting effect, I think, socially, and certainly people remember them. And Grease, Rocky Horror Show, and of course, a movie that you all fondly remember, Megaforce.
We'll get to that in a few
Really?
minutes. Yeah.
How many people here actually remember Megaforce? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you did. Well, we have a special guest in a little while, and we'll talk about Megaforce. Right now, I don't give a shit about it. I'm here just to talk about me. Okay.
All right then. Well, let's talk a little bit about, because this is always a fun thing. Some people know about Megaforce, Rocky Horror. Does anybody know about the Clowns?
The Clowns. Thank you so much. No, sit down. I was in a group called the Clowns with a K. We were produced by Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus, and we did an album called, oddly enough, The Clowns. And we had a number, we had a single that got to 37 with a bullet. Unfortunately, the bullet was going down and not up. We were like a hip singing group. We did juggling and all that kind of stuff, and we were put together to have a TV show where we'd have circus acts, and then we would be the interlocutors, and then there would be stars. And we did a pilot with some people, and that didn't go very well, unfortunately. So the Clowns disbanded after one album, but you can go on YouTube and hear the whole album, or you can go to the local thrift store and find a copy of the album way in the back of the box for $1. And if you do that, and if you bring it here, I'll sign it, but I will charge you double.
Or
yeah.
we could hear a little bit of it right now. Text in the back. Roll clip number 1, please.
Oh. See the guy in the tree in the back? That's me. Lady love, will you be mine? I'd like to give you all my time. For you I'd build a house by hand.
Oh, no, we're losing him.
Wait.
Okay, that's good.
But it's very hip.
That's good. We can cut it.
No. You cutting it off?
Oh, no, you want to keep going?
Do you have
Keep going.
keep going. Do you have another song from that album?
No, that was it. The only one.
That
we
was
got.
it?
Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty good choice. That was the one that was 39 with a bullet.
That's right, 39.
Yeah. Boom. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was nice. You've never done that for me.
Well, you've always asked me to play it on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
So I just prepped it this time.
I have asked you that?
Yes, you have.
Really?
3 times.
3 times to play it on the phone?
We've sat together several times. And you always say, if someone wants to bring up their phone, I'll sing a little bit.
Oh, my God. Wow. And I've never asked you to play that song that was cut from Rocky Horror?
Never.
Never? Do
No.
you have that?
No, I don't.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
My God,
Where-
that would be the normal thing that somebody in your position would probably think of, and then make me stand up and sing it out of an embarrassment.
Yeah, but it's just so you've done so much Rocky Horror and stuff. And you've done so much amazing other stuff too.
What was the name of that song from Rocky Horror? Huh? Once in a while, she don't want to call you. Speaking on the telephone, and once in your life. Hey. That's it. That's all I remember.
All right, I'll remember it for the next time.
Cut from the movie. Understandably cut from the movie because it was the wrong song at the wrong place in the movie, and it was a good song.
Yeah.
I, of course, was brilliant, but the movie just needed to go up instead of. It would have been a little bit like Lady Love from the Clowns, you know. If I had sung that in the movie, the bullet would have been going down, and the movie would have sort of stopped, you know.
Well, it didn't, as we obviously see by so many of our Rocky Horror fans here today. So real quick, some of the other things that you certainly did. You did a great turn as George Washington, and 2 miniseries.
Yes.
And absolutely fantastic performance. And then War and Remembrance, which got you a Golden Globe.
Yes.
So you played a submarine commander.
You're telling me things that I know.
I know, but I said.
But thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. But you always joke.
War and Remembrance, a 30-hour miniseries that, boy, that was one of the last really long ones, you know. And did anybody ever see any of War and Remembrance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, yeah. Everybody over the age of 60 here. So no. It was a great miniseries. It was stupendous, and I played a submarine captain. Lady Astor was his name, and Lady because they all the Navy guys in World War II had these nicknames, and we shot in a real submarine in Hawaii, and I realized why there was a height sort of limit for guys in submarines. You know, I was too tall. I never would have been able to be a submarine captain because I'm 6'4", and I think there was 6 foot or 6'1" or something was the limit, and it's because you just didn't fit in the damn thing. You know,
I'm submarine height. I'm 5'5".
Yeah, you would have been great. Yeah, you would have won the war for us. You know. But yeah, so War and Remembrance. If you're anywhere around not having 30 hours to do in your life, look it up. I think it's really quality film. And then George Washington, we did 6 hours, 8 hours or something. I played George Washington in early 80s, and I played him from the ages of 18 to 62 or 63. And that was a great experience because we shot in all of the real places. We shot in Mount Vernon, we shot in Virginia, in all of those manors and beautiful homes. And again, it had a cast of wonderful character actors and movie stars, and I always regret that I didn't get my picture taken with so many of the people who were in it, because at that time I probably thought I was a bigger star than them. So, it's a joke.
Since Rocky Horror, of course, is your most identified and work, what's been the memory that you've taken from the Rocky Horror experience that's lingered with you the most?
Probably right now, this time.
Oh, this is great. Yeah. So
thank
you guys, congratulations. You're the ones. It's all you.
Rocky Horror was just a total surprise, I think, for all of us, And my wife hates it. She doesn't want to see me in high heels and mesh stockings. But she doesn't know that before I met her, that was my costume every Saturday night in New York.
Well,
so I've been trying to hide that. I'm trying to hide that for 25 years. And then the movie, she won't go see the movie. She doesn't get it. It's funny. You either get it or you don't get it. How many people get it? Thank you. And how many people don't get it?
The guy in the orange shirt.
You almost raised your hand, sir. We'll have to talk about this.
Come tomorrow night for the Shadowcast. We'll be doing a Shadowcast here tomorrow night. Barry will be introducing it.
We're doing the Shadowcast tomorrow night?
Yep.
10 o'clock?
Yep.
Is it 10?
Yep, in here.
Oh, thank God it's not midnight. Oh, my God. Why did they still do that at midnight? We did at one convention a few years ago. They did one of the screenings. It was supposed to start at midnight, but we didn't start till 2 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning, And I almost didn't ever want to do it again,
That'd be rough.
But I was so drunk by that time it didn't make a difference. It was good. It was good.
And then one thing we want to focus on a little bit is a movie you did named Megaforce. And with that, though, I want to bring in our surprise guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a man of so much fantastic talents. We know him from the Warriors, but we're going to talk to him about Megaforce. Please welcome another guest, Mr. Michael Beck.
Michael Beck.
I want to thank all 4 of you Megaforce fans for being here. We appreciate it. But what I really want is a round of applause for the clowns. Let's get that bullet pointed the other way.
Right on.
Lady Love.
I learned something new every day. I knew you were a clown, but I didn't know that it was official.
Here, sit over here. Sit over here closer to
What's
Patty.
his face?
Here.
Right.
Man in the middle, huh?
Yeah, you be the man in the middle.
How you guys doing today?
We're good. What I'd love to do is let's go into a little bit of your background. You came up from Memphis?
I was born in Memphis, grew up across the river in Arkansas. My dad was a farmer and, Southern boy.
You tackled into acting, and you did some miscellaneous work, but I think the Holocaust kind of put you on the map.
Well, Holocaust was probably the first thing that I did that was kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
I think the Warriors probably
Definitely,
put me on the map.
that leveled you up.
Yeah.
The Holocaust got you in, and
Yeah.
Warriors got. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Warriors. How did that blip on your radar initially?
Well, hang on. I got a phone ringing in my pocket that
that's
shouldn't
okay.
be. And I'm hearing it through my... I'm hearing it through my hearing aids, so you can't hear it, but I can. Now, that don is not going on in my head
You look
anymore.
great for a man of 98 years old.
I know it.
Really,
And a man of 104 saying that really is surprising.
Thank you very much.
And wonderful.
Yeah, I was always older than you.
And your hair is still fabulous. Isn't
Well,
it?
yours
Right?
too. Yeah, yours too. Yeah.
Yours is good.
There's an interesting story about how I got the part in the Warriors. I had trained in the UK. I went to drama school there and worked in repertory theater there for about 5 years before coming back to New York. So the casting agents who were casting the Warriors in New York, they knew me as this kind of British-trained classical actor. So everybody and his brother, who was the right age, was being seen for that movie, but they wouldn't let me be seen because I was this British kind of person in their minds. So, you know, my agents kept going, Michael Beck needs to be seen for this part. No, he's not right for it. What happened was Walter Hill, the director of The Warriors, went to see a screening of a movie called Madman, which was an independent movie that I made in Israel the year before with Sigourney Weaver. He went to see it because he was one of the producers on Alien to see Sigourney's work and saw me in that movie and said, we want to see this guy. So had he not gone to see that, I wouldn't have been Swan. So, you know, it's funny how things work out.
What was it? I'm going to ask him a question, okay? What was it about you and your personality and who you are intrinsically that they were attracted to for the character in Warrior? What is it that said, oh, he has to play the part? I never understand why actors get parts sometimes. You know,
And you're asking another actor that question as if I know?
No, you must know. There's something inherent in your personality that was, at that time, and maybe still is, in parallel to that character. Do you know what that is?
Oh, I think they saw, if they were judging it on the film that they saw me in, they saw a kind of stoicism in that character, which Swan needed to have. You know, there's a physicality that I had that was right for the part, but I think they saw a kind of, you know, not that I'm comparing myself in any way, but they saw that kind of quiet Gary Cooper kind of stoicism that they wanted for that role.
I can see that,
and
yeah.
they just happened to see a film that showed that, you know. Yeah. That's what I think, anyway. I don't know.
And-
Walter never told me.
No, he never did?
No.
No.
And it's so interesting, too. In a lot of ways, you know, Rocky Horror and The Warriors both have the cult status, but they also have had almost a mystique over the years. You know, both of them were acute because The Warriors, I think it did okay initially, but they brought it back at the midnight screenings, and it, like Rocky Horror, it had gotten a reputation as one of those dangerous movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's like weird things happen on with both. When did you sort of realize that Warriors kind of kept going beyond the initial?
It was probably in the mid to early 80s. I'd moved from New York to LA, so it's after 82, so it's probably 83, 4 somewhere. I had a friend who had gone to Paris, and he came back on a vacation. He and his girlfriend went and said, you don't not believe this. We went to a midnight showing in Paris of The Warriors, and everybody standing in line were in the vests and dressed up as all the characters. I had heard about your movie having that kind of, you know, midnight showing, but so that was the first time I had any inkling that The Warriors now had a life after its kind of abbreviated initial release because of all the controversy that went on with it. Yeah.
And the supreme irony, of course, being that it was a fantastical remake of a classic Greek myth, Xenophon's March of 1000.
That's right, the Anabasis, yeah. March of the 10,000.
Great little stories. And then we'll come to your unique mutual project. Let's go ahead and roll clip number 2.
Oh. Do you sing?
In the shower.
From the director who brought you Smokey and the Bandit, Hooper, Cannonball Run, comes the ultimate spectacle. Megaforce, an elite compact fighting unit armed with the most sophisticated weapons ever seen on a movie screen. The mission, to preserve freedom and justice and battle the forces of evil.
The good guys always win, even in the 80s.
Megaforce.
All about the hair. It was all
Still
about
is.
the hair. Wow.
Barry played the part of Ace Hunter, the leader of the elite Megaforce, and Michael, of course, playing his second-in-command, Dallas.
Did you have a last name?
No.
No.
Just
okay.
Dallas.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Dallas, yeah.
Just Dallas says us. Produced and directed by Hal Needham, famous stuntman, of course, and did on the collaborations with Burt Reynolds and stuff. This is a wonderfully goofy movie that is I call it a comic movie made by people that never actually read comics, but nevertheless, it's achieved a cult status the same as your other two. And I just wanted to hear, how did individually you each fall into this?
Hal Needham's wife saw me. I was doing Pirates of Penzance. It was a musical, and I was doing it at a theater in Los Angeles. And at some time during the musical, I had a blue headband and as playing the Pirate King, and I would throw it out into the audience, and I would try to find the most attractive woman to throw it to, just because that's who I am. And I accidentally threw it to Hal Needham's wife that matinee, and she went home and said to Hal, "I've got the guy who should be playing Ace Hunter in your movie." And they contacted me, and that's the end of the story. I got a part because of some woman, who, which is how I got into show business in the first place.
And the hair, right?
Yeah, the hair, yeah. And then we met on the set. How did you get the job? They just gave you the job because you were stoic.
No.
No.
Because Dallas was not too stoic.
No, Dallas was fun.
Actually, it was a fluke getting that part as well. The original person cast in that role was Jerry Reed, who had done Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball, I think, with Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds. And my understanding, I got a call on Sunday. I was living in New York, and my agent, who was in LA, called and said, the person who was cast in this role in this film called Megaforce had a conflict and didn't show up for shooting on Friday or Saturday or whatever, so they're recasting the role. They're messengering you the script. It should arrive, read it, and let me know they want you on a plane tomorrow morning. So
Wow.
It was one of those deals. So everything was negotiated and put to sleep by Sunday evening. I got on a plane Monday morning, flew out there in the car from the airport out to wherever the set was in the desert. I had to learn the speech that Dallas had, which was actually the longest speech that
Right.
he had. So I had a 45-minute drive and learned my part, got out, went to makeup, put on that little gold lame suit that we all love so well, and went out and said my speech.
Wow.
So that's, quite just a fluke.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
A really crazy shoot. You talked about how the motorcycles, even though they shot stuff, they sputtered all over, and some of the effects and everything else. What was the craziest thing that happened on the set to your individual experience?
As far as the vehicles and things?
Or just anything in general on Megaforce?
This is after the fact. I just learned this a few months ago when I was at Barry's and we were doing this documentary, is that because Mattel designed all those toys prior to the movie being shot, the vehicles in the movie had to look like the toys. So these battle truck kind of things, battle cruiser vehicles, were set up in such a way that the stunt drivers couldn't get out of them, so they had to stay in them most of the day, and the engines and the exhaust would put carbon dioxide into the cabin, so they had to rush them, by, I don't know whether it was ambulance or whatever, but they had to get them oxygen at the end of the day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
They'd send them all to the emergency ward, and they would puff them up with oxygen, and then they figured out that they didn't kill any of them yet.
Right, okay, yeah.
But if they had, Hal Needham would have just buried them in the desert somewhere and hired 2 more, because that's what Hal was like. Hal was a real taskmaster and not much of an actor's director. I can say that now that he's dead.
Sure.
But
Without fear, right?
Without fear, yeah. that he's going to run me over with a motorcycle or something. But no, we just did. A guy who runs the Facebook page of, what is it, the Megaforce headquarters or something? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And he's doing a documentary on the making of Megaforce. We've done riff tracks and all those kinds of things, and people have, made fun of our movie for many, many years. And they've hurt my feelings for many, many years about this. Oh, shut up. You think that's real? You think it's true? No, I think the movie is just so kitschy and fun, and it's probably the worst acting I've ever done in a film, and so I look on it as a real step up in terms of my film career. Because I was just doing theater and being so much larger than life in this, I didn't quite make the transition from theater to film as well as I would have liked to. My part, Ace Hunter, was initially turned down by Michael Douglas, I found out a couple of weeks ago.
And Tom Selleck.
And who? Tom Selleck?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you remember Bob telling us that?
That's right.
And
Tom Selleck?
Yeah, I'm sorry to bring it up again, but
So where was I in line? I mean, was I after, who, Chachki or Chachi or whatever, or, one of
Scott
those guys?
Baio.
Really? Yeah.
John Stamos?
Stamos
Yeah,
turned
there
it
you
down,
go.
right, yeah, sure. John Travolta turned it down.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. No, I think they thought that they were going to
Harrison Ford, too. I think.
Harrison, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Oh, well, I turned down Star Wars.
Yeah, well, there you
So
go.
we had to go back and forth, yeah. And I turned down Superman, too, didn't you?
Yes, I couldn't. My body wouldn't take the harnesses.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
No,
so-
I did that once, yeah. Yeah, I did a harness thing. I did a thing a couple years ago in Romania.
Harnesses in Romania, go no further.
Yeah,
We've all seen Hostel.
you're right. Scorpion King 3, I think.
Rocky Horror all over again.
Oh, God, it was horrible. But it was, so go see it. It's Scorpion King 3. It was, they had us on harnesses flying, and I would just get seasick the whole time. It was horrible. Those harnesses are just worse. They also had us on horses, and the first day they were training horses, and I was on a horse, and the horse threw me, and I have yet to be on a horse since Romania. But I found out that usually wranglers, they don't put people on male horses. What are they called, male horses?
Geldings?
Yeah, well,
Studs?
they usually put them on
Stallions.
Gelding, yeah.
female horses, which would have
mare.
been... Yeah, mares, that's right. So, and they put me on this male horse, and he was a little feisty and threw me, and this story is going nowhere. It does not have an end, so just mind your P's and Q's, all right? That's all I have to say about that. I don't even know why I
That's
brought
fine.
it up.
Yeah, Scorpion King 3.
If you can
Okay.
get us out of Romania.
Yeah, Romania. Okay.
What's one thing that somebody recently noticed about Megaforce was about how there's some social aspects to it that could never be replicated nowadays. When Persis's character goes through all the training and says, "I'm just as good as you, and so I deserve to go on the mission," and your character says, "No, 'cause you're not a member of the team." You can't get away with that now, and can't get away with your character wearing the stars and bars.
Oh.
Yes, because of the
Yeah.
stars and bars on my shoulder. That's true.
Yeah.
It would be politically incorrect today.
Yes, yes. But again, it's a wonderful time capsule of 1982, which again, 1982 of those fellow film is considered one of the greatest movie years ever because so many other things came on out. And I think that might have kind of like lost the box office, but it lives on in our memories. And like I said, we look forward to. Is there a date for this documentary coming out? Do you know when it's going to be released yet?
No.
Okay.
No, but the guy who's putting it together has interviewed everybody from the fourth stuntman on the left to the prop guys and he finally got the producers last week, and so it's going to actually be. It's not going to be one of those documentaries of, well, what the hell happened, and, I can understand why it didn't make any money, that kind of, it's going to be like, this guy is a total fan, and he's a fan legitimately because he saw it at the right age. He saw it when he was 12 years old. It came out, it was a very pure, innocent well, innocent, clear good guys, bad guys movie. And it was, and he had an experience with his father by going to see it, and it was, they bonded over this, and then he went home and turned his bicycle into a rocket launching, motorcycle, and so it was. I don't know. I think it's a really great movie from that standpoint. That it's very clear what it is, and it appears that people get killed, but they get up and walk away at the end of being thrown 50 feet in the air. And they did that on purpose. I mean, they wanted a G rating. They wanted something that everybody could see, and they basically wanted to sell toys. And I don't think they sold very many toys either. I have some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some. And Bob, this guy, Lindemeyer, who's head of the fan club, he's now owns 2 of the Mega Destroyers, and he owns my motorcycle from the movie and my original helmet and all of that. And he's just like this super fan who goes out and finds everything he can, that's related to Megaforce. And he's not like some crazy guy, He's not like, he's like a real guy. I mean, he's got a real job, and he just fell in love with that time period and that movie, and it just brings back such wonderful feelings for him that he's carrying it through, to see it through. And
Right on.
I'm really looking forward to it. Megaforce, I don't know what it's going to be called, but it'll probably do as much business as Megaforce did,
Megaforce, the Blue Headband.
The Blue Headband.
Headband,
right,
yes.
Right, of course.
Even though you were slated, I think you were all slated for like 3-picture deal, and the sequel would have been Deeds Not Words, if I read correctly.
Deeds, not words. Well, we made up all the dialogue in the car going to the set every day.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, except for your speech, because you had to learn it,
I wasn't on board yet, knowing that we were doing that.
Oh,
but,
yeah, no. You had
But I learned shortly and quickly.
Yeah, and so you started adding
Making
things.
it up too.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, sure. Well, he knew what he wanted the stunts to look like, and he had all the hardware and everything. He just didn't have a clue what we should say, And so we had to come up with something. So all of those sort of silly lines we made up at lunch, The good guys always win, even in the 80s. I think I came up with
You came
one
up with
day
that? Yeah. Well,
on
nice.
my way to the set.
Well, any movie with the 2 of you guys and Henry Silva is never bad.
Nah.
And speaking of great fans, what I'd love to do is invite all our fans out here to go ahead and ask questions. I'm going to put a microphone right up here. Whoops.
Where's he going?
I'm going to just put a microphone up for our audience.
Scaring me. Yeah.
I always, yeah.
All right. Oh, there he is.
There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and please, by all means, feel free to ask any questions about them individually, about their careers or the joint careers. Go ahead and ask about Rocky Horror, ask about the Warriors. So let me please read you your rights. You have the right to ask one question. If you wish to ask more than one question, you have the right to go back to the end of the line unless you provide written permission from everyone behind you, signed and notarized, that you can ask more than one question. You have the right to introduce yourself and then proceed to your question without declaring to the guest of the audience how you became a fan, how long you have been a fan, your philosophy about being a fan, and how you find their presence is fantastic. And 3, finally, you have the right to ask a question but not make a request. Requests are, but not limited to, the following: hugs, high fives, personal endorsements, songs, sonnets, spoilers, reading your spec script, speaking in a specific character voices, stowing away in their luggage, or sampling your homemade hot sauce. So that being said, young lady, the microphone is yours.
I didn't listen to any of that, sorry.
What the hell did
That's
he
okay,
just
nobody
say?
ever does.
What did he just say?
I don't know.
No? What did you just say? I couldn't hear a thing.
Here you go, you can
Oh, I have to read this?
You can read that.
Answer, you have the right to ask one question. If you wish to ask more than one, you have the right to go back to the end of the line. Go back to the end of the line.
No, she is the line.
Oh,
I am
she
the
was
line.
the line. Okay.
Well,
all right.
ask your one question, and then there you go.
Okay, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Jade.
Okay,
Jade.
wait a minute. And then proceed to your question.
My question. First, I apologize.
Don't tell me how you became a fan.
I apologize for the Rocky Horror question, but that's who I am as a person. So.
Okay.
If there was any other role in Rocky Horror you could play, looking back, what would it be?
It would be the lead.
But you are the lead.
Well, I'm the goofy guy. I'm the straight guy. I would have loved to have.
Well, not so straight, actually, so.
Well, thank you. Thank you. How do you know? Do I know you? Go to the back of the line.
Wait, Jade, hold on. Here's candy. There you go. Thank you.
What
Ooh,
are
good
you
catch.
giving her? Candy? Are you
Yeah,
giving
you get
candy?
yes.
You pedophile.
What?
My
She's
God.
of legal age. If she knows about Rocky Horror, then she's old
Yeah.
enough for the facts of life.
Okay, you cannot make a request. You can ask a question. What's your question?
My question is to Michael. In the Warriors, I know that they had real gang members and off-duty police from New York at the opening scene. How did they get them, and what was the percentage, or roughly, was it hundreds of gang members? Because I know at the time New York was very dangerous.
You know, the whole, that's mythology. You know, this movie has collected some myths. Probably the only scene in the movie where there were some actual gang members was at the conclave scene, where there were, you know, several thousand extras, and some of those extras happened to be gang members, but other than that, you know, there weren't any, and that percentage was low, probably less than, you know, certainly less than 5%, maybe, you know. But it's, you know, as in 40 years, that mythology has grown that all of us, we were cast because we were gang members. Right. No, just lying.
Did you talk with any of them? Did you get any insight into the whole scene?
Actually, before the movie, I lived up on the Upper West Side on 79th between Columbus and Amsterdam. And on 82nd and Amsterdam, there was a gang headquarters. So I, you know, just street gang. So I kind of walked over one day to do, you know, actor research.
Yeah, right.
And these kids looked at me like, have you lost your mind? So I thought, you know, I'll just make it up as I go along.
Oh, well.
They're not going to give me any straight goods here.
Yeah. Well, it was like West Side Story, right? I mean, there was a West Side Story-ish kind of feeling to it.
We didn't sing or dance.
You didn't sing or dance. No, okay. All right. Okay.
Have you seen The Warriors?
Huh?
Have you seen The Warriors? There's no singing.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I've not
I
seen.
don't-
I've not heard the clowns either.
Okay, right then. Yeah, right. No, I haven't seen it.
We are learning so much today,
Yeah, I know,
aren't
I've
we?
seen
So,
it.
hey, boss.
I don't even know who this guy is.
He still doesn't.
How you
Yes.
doing? My name is Charles Gilbert.
Hi.
When you were had a close-knit cast and crew for Spin City,
Yeah.
and when Michael J. Fox had to leave for his medical reasons, how did you guys support him, or anyone else that, like, did you guys know ahead of time before he announced it, and how did you guys, you know, support him during his time when he was on the set?
Oh, that's interesting. Nobody's ever asked us that, or asked me that. It was a very sad time. He called us into his dressing room. I want to say so halfway through the third season, or the fourth season, which would have been his last season, and told us about it. And it was you know, a horrible time, obviously for him, but we were a close group, and we had seen, I certainly had seen, a diminishing effect that had been going on for about a year with him in terms of his physical comedy and physical activities, and he was just not doing as much, and I saw him sort of falter sometimes, but he always, and when he was questioned earlier, you know, he said, well, I have Lyme disease or this or that, because we were shooting in front of a live audience, and sometimes we had to delay shooting for an hour or two, which is doesn't happen very often when you're on a kind of schedule like that. And the excuse was always that his medication hadn't kicked in yet, but then we found out that really the medication he was on was for Parkinson's and for his symptoms of that, and he had to take it at a particular time so that he could be in front of an audience, in front of a camera, and not have any symptoms. But then, you know, he only had a brief window of when he could be symptom-free, and then you probably know, you followed his career. He just doesn't, Now he just, only unless it's something that he can't function, will he even, it seems to me, take the kind of medication that he was on to try to hide it. Now he's out just raising millions and millions and millions of dollars for the foundation, and he's one of the smartest people I've ever known, and he's giving the money and to the right people who are doing the right and cutting edge research. And the man has found, as he's always said, he said this is what his life is probably was leaning to and is all about, to be that helpful and that to be able to help find a cure not only for Parkinson but all the related diseases that he's funneling this research and money into. So he's a great man, and he'll be around for a long time, and I hope he does, because he's doing great things for us.
Great.
You know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, you guest starred in an episode of Phineas and Ferb with Richard O'Brien, and the creators are outspoken fans of Rocky Horror Picture Show and constantly put references in. So what is it like working in an environment where people are so aware of your iconic role as Brad and constantly wanting to talk about that or have references to that?
Well, that's just two interesting questions in a row.
Sorry.
No, that's great. I love talking about it. And Richard O'Brien, who wrote the Rocky Horror Show, was the other grandfather, but we never recorded together. He was the grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was Grandpa Clyde or something. And I think I did 4 or 5 episodes of Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, and the guys who wrote that were big fans, as you say, and they would just sort of start the conversation off, and we'd chat briefly about it, and then we'd go do the work. And I always wished there were more people in their position, you know, who had this kind of love for Rocky Horror Picture Show, because then I would have done more animation.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beetlejuice.
What did you get? What did you get? What kind of candy did he give you?
Would you like some candy?
Huh?
Would you like some candy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Thank
Do you have some
very
candy?
much.
You haven't earned it yet.
Okay, wait a minute.
But
Are-
Michael gets
is
one
it-
because he's dressed for Miami.
Is it chewy? Is it
It
chewy?
is chewy. It is
Okay,
chewy.
good.
All right,
Thank
there
you
go.
very
All right,
much.
there you go. You get a green one. There you go.
Thank you. This
Hey.
this is the cheapest candy I've ever seen. This is like leftover from Halloween last year.
It is not. I get them from Amazon for $17 for a 5-pound bag. So you know it's quality.
You could break a crown on this thing, man.
My God. Don't accept the candy. All right?
I was giving it to my friend anyway.
Yeah, he's taking it back. No.
Here,
your
you can have
friend.
his candy. It's touched by him. There you go.
Give it to
Ooh.
your friend.
Yes.
Your friend. You should be in show business. I told her she should be an actress. She's beautiful.
Isn't she?
My God. And a voice. What is this voice? Yeah. Apparently it's not there right now. No, it's gone. But no. All right, I'm sorry. Ali, right?
Ollie.
Ali. Okay.
Okay. My question is,
Yes.
throughout the entire process of making Rocky Horror, how many pairs of underwear did you go through?
And
Give me my
why?
candy back.
She
It's
bought
too late. It's too late.
She bought some underwear from me earlier, and she just wants to know whether they're unique or, you know, where they stand in terms of the hierarchy of when I'm dead, and she can put them on eBay. I don't know. I think all I know is that they wanted to put me in some underwear originally that was made in England, and I said, well, the guy's from America. You got to go get some jockeys or some, you know, Fruit of the Looms or something. So they brought them over special from New York for the thing, and I don't know. I don't even know what happened to them. I'm sure they were soiled and horrible by the end of the shoot. Did I say too much?
Just the right amount.
Just the right amount, yeah. But you know, it's funny. They didn't allow us to keep anything after the shoot. I mean, all the costume pieces went right back into a vault somewhere, and occasionally you can find a boa or something or that somebody has, but no, I wish I had those underwear right now. I wish I had my high heels right now, size 12 high heels, but I don't. And what's that?
I really don't know you.
No, you don't know.
No, you're a clown, and now you're wanting the high heel shoes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are those high heels? What size? 13. I'll take them. I'll put a Kleenex or something in the front. That's great. What was your question? Oh, underwear.
It's about
Yes.
underwear.
Underwear. Yeah, so no. That would have been the short answer. No. That was only one pair that I know of, you know. And that's all I have to say to you. Get out of here.
Actually, do a follow-up. Michael, the iconic Warriors jackets, did you each have just one? Did you have several?
Well, there were probably 4 or 5 vests that we wore through the movie, but there was one primary one. And at the wrap of the movie, the day that we wrapped, I foolishly, not knowing that this would become a cult movie, and quite sentimentally signed mine and gave it to Walter Hill, the director.
Oh.
You know. So I did not have my original vest until 2 years ago at the Hollywood show, which is a convention kind of like this. A young man who had a friend that was a property master at Paramount who years before had absconded with one of the Warrior vests that had Swan in it, my character name in it. So it was one of the ones I wore, and had come on hard times, and this young man had bought it from this friend. Mm-hmm. He came to the Hollywood show and he gave me the vest. He said, I've always felt this needed to go back to where, so it's in a shadow box in my office. Isn't that a great story?
Oh, that's
wonderful.
There are not too many people that would do that.
No.
That, you know,
No.
It'd be like, I have your vest. Can you sign it for me? Take a picture with me, and then I'm gonna take it home.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Well,
So
it's funny. Somebody came up to me at one of these cons and said, "Here, I have your original underwear." And
I just saw her. She was here
yeah.
just a moment ago.
Oh, yeah, right. And I didn't believe her. But that's a great story.
Yeah, it is.
What did you give him in return besides love and affection?
I actually have facsimile vests that we sign. So I signed it and got all my Warrior buddies that were there to sign it and gave him
great.
that. So,
That's great.
That's great. That's great. So, hi.
Hi, my name is Maggie, and I have a question for Barry.
Okay.
Throughout shooting Rocky Horror, was there a specific scene that you guys couldn't get through without laughing too hard through, or you had to stop and keep going back to it?
That's a terrible question.
I'm sorry. It came from my friend.
That came. Oh yeah. Blame your friend
Where's
for
your-
that shitty question.
Where's your friend?
Penguin.
Friend,
Right.
wait,
Where's the friend?
Yeah.
Right? Really?
Pink. Oh, hi.
Yeah. You assume, everybody assumes that actors always have fun making movies, right? They assume that we're always just giggling and laughing and cutting up. And I don't remember ever doing that on the Rocky Horror Show. It was so miserable. We were cold, I was wet, there wasn't any toilets around. It was such a low-budget
so
film.
now we know what happened to those underwear. No toilets around.
Yeah, there's no toilets around. Right. I don't remember ever laughing. I was trying to be Brad all the time, you know, just trying to be straight and young Republican and, you know, a young Trump, you know, supporter. And yeah, if Trump had existed, well, he did exist at the time, but yeah, no, I didn't. I still don't laugh.
Okay.
I don't laugh. I don't, you know, I don't cry very often either. But if you stand there long enough, I might shed a tear. But
I don't want that.
thank you so much for that. And yeah, and here's your candy.
Okay, well, here, you get one. No, you get one, and then your friend gets
Okay.
one. Miss
The
Miss
friend
Shy.
gets
There
the
you go.
candy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. They each get one.
Hello.
Hi there.
I have a question for Michael Beck, and for two questions. One about the Warriors, and one about Rocky Horror Picture Show. First, about the Warriors. Is it true that like the film trucks were actually protected by like the actual mongrels, and like actual gangs were paid to like protect the film trucks while they were shooting in New York?
Another myth.
Oh, another myth. Okay.
Another myth. We did have security, rather large, muscular guys on the set, but there were no gangs that protected us. There were a couple of instances. Well, I'll tell you a story. We went to film one night. I mean, we shot 80 nights, but one of these nights we were in this really derelict street in Brooklyn, where on each side of the street, all of the houses were vacant and almost falling down. The apartment buildings, they were, busted out windows, et cetera, because Walter wanted this shot of us, a traveling shot of the Warriors walking through this kind of derelict area. What happened was right when everything, they got the setup, so it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It was our first setup of the shooting day. And all we're going to do is just march down this street, turn the corner, and that's the shot, and then we're going to wrap and go to somewhere else. As soon as they called action, gang kids stepped into all of these windows in these, second and third stories of these derelict brownstones and started screaming and stomping their feet. So it was like they hadn't been paid off. We were on their turf, so we actually packed up the circus and went somewhere else.
They didn't pay them off? Usually they just pay them off.
Well, they had been, but they hadn't gotten to the right person, so it was just easier at that stage just to move on down the road. So those kind of incidences, not many happened, but we never had any gang protection. We might have had mafia protection, I don't know about that, but we didn't have any gang protection.
Yeah.
Oh, and the same question goes for, I'm sorry, I forgot.
My name's Barry.
Barry. Yeah.
That's okay. That's all right.
Barry of the Underwear.
To the panel
Captain Underwear.
unprepared.
That's okay. No.
So, Rocky Horror Picture Show, did it also have any myths or people protecting film trucks or what have you?
Protecting. Were we protected? Were we protected? No, I don't think so. I think nobody really knew we were there. Okay. We were very low key.
Low budget.
Yeah. We shot in a derelict house they had taken all the lead off the roof because they were going to tear it down, and they were going through some whole stuff with the city and the county, and they couldn't take it down. It was a historical landmark. And so we were always shooting in this old house manor that was leaking and cold and horrible. Did I tell you it was a miserable shoot? I've already said that, right? Yeah. No, nobody was protecting us from the misery that we had
the elements.
Shooting Rocky Horror. But they've since turned that manor house into one of the finest boutique hotels, and you can go there and eat in the same dining room that we ate meatloaf, in the table. And the myth, there's one myth. The myth was that they didn't tell us that when they pulled the thing off the table, that meatloaf's body was underneath there, and that's what we had been eating. And the myth is that they hadn't told us that, and that we were all surprised by that. But I think, again, we didn't realize that they had even told us that because we were all so stoned. But that's not true. Everything I've said today is wrong.
Thank you.
Are you stoned?
I'm so stoned. I'm so stoned. And I don't even smoke. So,
Unfortunately, that will have to be our last question. I'm sorry. Barry?
Wait a minute. He had a question.
Come here. All right, real quick. What you got?
Yeah, you stole the thing right away from me.
Thanks, Barry. My question is actually to Michael. I had a question about...
What was your question to our good friend and amazing guest, Mr. Michael Beck?
I actually had a question about a different movie that... a whole movie that was not even talked about today that you were in, Xanadu. You played with some great people. You played with Gene Kelly, Olivia Newton-John. And I was wondering mainly about the skating that you did. Is it something that you already knew how to do? You had to learn it? Was there any interesting stories about the skating?
Well, as far as roller skating is concerned, in Xanadu, I had, like most, when I was a kid, gone to the roller rink, but I was not a very good skater. I mean, I was relatively coordinated, so I could stand up and skate around. They had people, a husband-wife team that came in probably 3 weeks before we started shooting and took Olivia and I and, we worked on those routines and worked on skating. So, kind of learned it like you do. If you have a special skill in a movie, you kind of learn it, before you shoot. So that's how that came about. Yeah.
Well, Barry, before you announce your winner, the $1 million one, DJ Elliott has a surprise for you.
Once in a while, she don't wanna call you.
Speaking on the telephone. And once in your life, she don't want to hear. You can finish the song.
If I knew the words.
Well, thank you all for coming out here today. Now, let me just ask you a question. Who had the best Rocky Horror question, do you think? You did? Huh? Underwear? Okay, come here. I'm going to give you $1 million.
Hey!
Thank you all
Crash
for coming.
Hold on. Go ahead and issue that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do our tradition. We're going to do the SuperCon selfie.
Oh, let's do the selfie.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and do it today. So our photographer William's going to come on up to the stage.